Alright, finding slope on a graph is what we're going to talk about for today. What you need to know about slope on a graph is rise over run. So that means I'm going to choose 2 points on a line, and then I am going to calculate my rise. When it is going up to the right, that is positive. Is a positive slope. When it is going down to the right, is a negative slope. Alright, so let's take a look at our first example. Our first example is a straight line. This is a horizontal line. This is called zero slope. So zero slope just means that it is a flat line, and the way that I think of it is you can ski on a zero slope. Okay, so the slope of this line is just equal to 0 because my rise is 0, my run, if I just chose a point here on 0, 2, and then if I chose a point here, my rise is 0, my run then is going to equal 3. So 0 over 3 is equal to 0. Alright, let's take a look at our next slope. Our next slope is an undefined slope. So this is an undefined slope. And the reason why this would be an undefined slope, again, if I choose 2 points along that line, and I just subtract, or I take my rise, which is 1, 2, 3, my rise is going to be 3. And then my run, because it's rise over run, is equal to 0. So if I have 3 over 0, well, 0 times any number is not going to give me 3, so therefore that is an undefined slope. Alright, now we're going to get into some examples where I'm going to actually have to find a number for the slope. So the first thing that I like to do is I like to look at a line and I like to say whether it's positive or negative to make sure that I get my answer in the right form. So this line is moving up to the right, so I know my answer needs to be positive. So now I can choose any 2 points on this line where it crosses through the corner of a box very nicely. So if I start here at the origin, 0, 0 is a good spot, and then I can also go to 1, 2 is a good spot. So if I'm going to now calculate out my rise, which is right there, my rise then is 2, my run is over 1. So my rise is 2, my run is 1. So I'm left with 2 over 1, which simplifies down to a slope of 2. Alright, let's take a look at another example. The next example, if I look at this and I read from left to right just like I would read a book, this one is going down to the right, so therefore my answer needs to be negative. So now again, I'm going to choose 2 points on that line. So there's 1 point where it crosses through nicely, and then I'm going to choose another point right there. So now I want to calculate out what is my rise compared to my run. So my rise on this one goes right there. My rise is down 3, so that's a negative 3. And then my run is going to be calculated by going this way. So my run then is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I'm left with 6 as my bottom. and -3 as the top, which then is going to simplify down to a slope of -1/2. Alright, now would be a good time for you to pause the video and try and find the slope on this before I do. Alright, when I read this from left to right, it is going up to the right, so this is going to be a positive slope. And then again, I'm going to choose 2 points. Where does it cross through nicely? There's a point right here, and then there's a point right here. So that's a location where it's going to cross through nicely. So if I calculate out again my rise, which is 1, 2, 3. So 3 over, and then my run, which is going to be right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 over 5 cannot be simplified down anymore, so my answer is 3/5. Hopefully that's what you got on your paper as well. Now, one thing that you will notice about the 3/5 slope is it's definitely a lot flatter compared to like a 2 slope that we had found earlier. And it would also be, going back to the skiing method, it would be something a lot easier to ski on, more of a fraction, because that's going to be a flatter line compared to a more vertical line, which might be more by a whole number slope. Alright, this is the last example, and again I would pause the video so that you can work out this problem for an answer. Alright, when I take a look at this, if I read from left to right, it is moving up to the right, so therefore it's going to be a positive slope. And again, I'm going to put 2 points anywhere on my line. And right there it crosses. Right there it's going to cross. So if I'm going to do my calculations now, where my rise is going to be up 5, and my run then is going to be over 1. So that's going to be over 1. So that then is going to make my slope 5 over 1 becomes 5, which you will notice is a little bit more difficult to ski, but it's not quite like the undefined, where at least a 5 slope I can ski down there. So hopefully this helps you on understanding slope on a graph. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good day.